John McCaig, JesusChristTrust.net. I want to go through the understanding of time and what a cycle is and an age is and what's happening. Okay. First, I want to read from a book, God Speaks by Mayor Baba, and this is the 1970 version of this. I got it off of eBay. And this is page 229. It's in the supplement. It's in the back of the book. And there are numbered sections in the supplement. And this is number 28. Okay? In the supplement. And this relates to number 28 and the footnote on that page. Okay? So I'm going to differentiate you what is written and in number 28 here, and then I'm going to read you also the footnote, and then I'm going to explain it to you. Okay. And then we'll go through further explanation with supporting material. All right, to understand time, which is broken into ages and cycles as a way to explain it. Okay. So this section of God Speaks is number 28, and it's called Mayor Baba on the Hierarchy. Mayor Baba says, quote, in each cycle of time, comma, and here's the asterisk for the footnote, in each cycle of time, then there's an asterisk and a footnote. In Vedanta, a cycle of time is called a yuga, and an age is a kal. The Sufis call a cycle a Janur or Zaman, and an age a Waqt. W-A-Q-T. I'm sure I messed up every pronunciation of that, so I apologize. But that's where the footnote. So I'm going to read it now. That was the footnote, and we're going to read from the beginning again. And I'll explain where the footnote is, but I'm going to keep reading. I'm not going to read the footnote again. All right. So number 28, Mayor Baba on the Hierarchy. Mayor Baba says, comma, quote, in each cycle of time, comma, asterisk, for the footnote, which ranges from 700 to 1400 years, comma, there are 11 ages of 65 to 125 years each. From the beginning to the end of each cycle, there are altogether 55 perfect masters, and and that means each age, again referring to the same footnote, each age has only 5 perfect masters. Each age has only 5 perfect masters. In the 11th age of each cycle, the avatar is also present. Besides the 55 perfect masters in the avatar, there are also 56 Mejubs in each cycle. Okay. So this part, let me just be clear for this part here. An age, right, is why it's named an age, because it's like an age of a human age. Is why they call it, oh, that's an age, because that's what age a human's going to get to. You're going to reach your full age, okay? And it's from 65 years to 125 years each. Meaning that the very beginning of Judgment Day, right, because it's a 64-year time loop, so part of the beginning of Judgment Day, or the end of the last Judgment Day, is clipped on here as 65 to 125 years each, right? You got this weird time on the front end or the back end, a little bit of it, right? On the end of the here. Because remember, Judgment Day is 1,000 years long, okay? So a cycle is 64-year time loop plus the 1,000 years Judgment Day. That's why when Mayor Baba says, oh, I come every 700 to 1,400 years, he doesn't come, and stay for all of Judgment Day. You know what I'm saying? He's like, well, I'll meet you, you know, like at some point during Judgment Day. You know what I mean? Like you talk to Jesus first, and then you know, uh, I'll be out at some point. You know, in the big to do. Uh, you know, you follow? Uh, so that's why he says, oh, 700 to 1400 years. He's like, I'll be in there sometime, you know, during Judgment Day. During that 1,000 years of Judgment Day, Mayor Baba will come out and be like, oh, I'm back, you know? Hey, you know, he'll basically be like, stop, you know? Like, I'm here, you know? Uh, it seemed like they learned their lesson. Let's start again. You know what I mean? Like, let's restart this thing. Let's for let's forgive him. Let's, you know, decide who's staying. You see, who stays with me? Who, you know, let's be done with heaven and hell. Let's because Jesus works all that, right? But he comes like, oh, okay, let's restart this thing, right? Father, compassionate Father says, well, let's have another go, everyone. You know, let's go again, okay? Let's go again. Let's do another time. So you could do another age, okay? And then you pay for your sins in the 1,000 years of Judgment Day. That's, you know, where you lose your body, become disembodied, go to heaven or hell, and then you spend your time that Judgment Day, that 1,000 years, which is seems like eternal, but you see, your soul is eternal. You are eternal. It's based on your actions, what you're gonna do, whether you know, you're going to end your time loops and go to God and not be separated from God again. Either that's going to happen or you go to heaven or hell, right? On Judgment Day. There are three options: heaven or hell, which is still duality, still called the time loop, still learning lessons, still going to reincarnate, or ultimately go to God. You know, like you're done, right? The perfect masters, when they are done with their, you know, cycle of cycles, when they're done, Mirama said there are 11 cycles, really, like that tower you see from Rado Gailey. Maybe I should pull that up. Rado Gailey Tower. This here, right here, is you know, an explanation of the time cycles right here. You see, and Bear Bob's like, I'll see you at the end. You know what I mean? Like, I'll let you do your thing, and the five perfect masters are gonna watch over you during, you know, the ups and the downs, and you know, all the different things that seem to happen. Uh, but you know, I'll send I'll come during the 64-year time loop on the last loop. That's what he's saying. And I'll wake up and I'll give you the truth and I'll give you the big push. And then what? We start again. Start again. Uh, and so those five perfect masters, they get to, after they run this, you know, cycle of cycles, you see, that's what he usually calls cycles of cycles. Uh, and then, you know, this thing has to start again, exactly the same. That's Pralaya and Mahapralaya. You know, like but then there's a 64-year time loop. So it's just, you know, it's going to 64 years. Then it's the cycle of the 1,000 years from Judgment Day plus 64 years. But then there's, oh, this thing kind of God basically swallows the whole thing and then spits it out again, and the whole thing starts again. Five new perfect masters, you see? And then they wake up the avatar at the end who knows everything when nobody tells them. And guess who that is? Obviously. Obviously, who is that? Who is that? How can someone know all this and you know, there's only one person that knows all this and say that all of it is me. So, uh, let's keep going, okay? First of all, let's go into a little more information here. This is kind of at the bottom of this page. I did a Google search and I got to trustmayor.org, right? And this is some information on Mayor Mamba. It's basically quotes of Mayor Mamba. It's not like a pick a subject matter and then put up quotes and not really do any kind of anything from that. So, which is great. So it's just quote, um, which is fantastic. Near the bottom here, I want to show you every time the avatar says he is not necessarily recognized as the avatar by the masses. He can be recognized as such only by those who are very advanced spiritually. The avatar himself is the least concerned about whether or not he comes to be recognized as avatar by large numbers. He plays thoroughly his role as the avatar, and his chief work lies in the higher invisible spheres of existence. If, however, he appears at a critical or transitional cyclical period, as is often the case, he is hailed by the masses as the avatar of the age. The avatar is not necessarily recognized and hailed as the avatar by each at all because he covers himself under a veil for his own spiritual work. This veil, under which he prefers to remain hidden, is different from the veil which the five Freckles masters draw on him while bringing him down in the human form. The veil which the avatar puts on himself can be removed by him at any time and for any person or persons as he may desire for the purposes of self-revelation or self-communication. The avatar does not take upon himself the karma of the world, nor does he become bound by it, but he takes upon himself the suffering of the world, which is the result of its karma, its actions, right? His suffering for the world is vicarious. It does not entail entanglement with the karma of the world. But humanity finds its redemption from its karma through his vicarious sufferings, e.g., illness, humiliation, accidents, and the like. In his own ways, the avatar unfailingly fulfills his incarnation by giving a spiritual push to the age. This is why I did so many court cases against the bankers and was homeless. Why? Because if I'm not suffering for the world as the world is suffering, right? What's my purpose? No purpose, you see? All right. Let me also bring up another point here. And this is I wrote an email today, right before I did this video. And it's just Sufism Reoriented. They have information there. Information at Sufism Reoriented. Sufism Reoriented was given all of Mayor Baba's copyrights and ability to publish all their books and everything like that. That was the organization that published the first God Speaks in 1955. There's a 1955 publishing, a 1968, a 1970, a 1973, and then later ones. The book enlarges as we get into the time loop, like the 19 past the 1973. It's a bigger book, and so I was looking at older versions of the book too because I'm looking for a particular item in the book which I heard is in there, but I heard was taken out later. So I got well, let me just get into this. So I got the books are not very affordable. You know what I mean? I wish they were more affordable. Um, but they're rare. Like I got a 1970. There's also a 1968. Yeah, I don't have that. So there's a 19. I have a 70 and a 73, 1970 and a 73, which are way more affordable versions of the book. But I really have gotten to the point where I was like, okay, I could get a 68 and see if it has it in there. But really, what I need is a 1955 version of the book. And I don't need it to own it per se. I just need it to do some research in it. So, if anyone were to get, there are two on eBay right now. There's this one and this one. This one isn't in as quite a perfect condition as this, I think, maybe. But it's pretty close. And this has one imperfection quote in the printer or whatever. But I don't care about that because I'm just doing some research on what's written in it. You know what I mean? And if you want to get it and lend it to me, hey, that's cool too, or if you do want to send it to me so I can continue my research forever, that's cool as well. Or if you want to get both of them, have one for you and study it yourself, and have one for me and we'll study it together, that's cool too. So, uh, working on that and knowing that Sufism Reoriented is the one that put out that book. In other words, Don Mead is a publisher. Let's pull this up for a second. Uh, Don Mead is a publisher. Let me see if it has. Yeah. Oh, is it going to say in 1955? So Don Mead is a publisher right out of New York, but Sufism Reoriented. Uh, yeah, here it is. Sufism Reoriented put it out. You follow me? See that right there, 1955. This is the first version. Okay. Uh, I consider this the most important book that's a physical form. So, and Mayor Baba said he put a spiritual atom bomb inside this book on purpose. And I would tell you, the first time I read this book, all the way through, I advanced a plane. Upon reading the last sentence, immediately advanced one plane. Immediately. Instantly, upon reading the last word, I read it straight through in uh, 2 days at the Bear Baba Center in Myrtle Beach in South Carolina. I just went to the library and they had a book there, and I just sat down and read it. And uh, no, I got it from the kitchen, and I brought it. I didn't have one, so I got it from the kitchen. I took it back to my room, and I finished it. You know what I mean? Like I finished it in 2 days, and I literally closed the book, like read the last word, closed the book, and started laughing and howling like a maniac, laughing my head off, cackling like a maniac as soon as I'm just being flooded by bliss. It's impossible to explain. It's, when you touch God, you get the three aspects of God, Sat, Chit, and Ananda, right? Sat, knowledge, Chit, power, and Ananda, the bliss, you know? Like that enters you, that God enters you, and you have this feeling, oh, I'm one with God, and that's you laugh like a maniac because you know everything finally that's going on, and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe this is so ridiculous. And then God touches you, so you receive God's grace, and it lasted for hours. I just literally bent over, cackled like a maniac. Finally walked up to outside his house and laid on the bench there for like another hour and just laughed my head off until it finally subsided, with the realization of what is happening in this reality, It was such a impossible to explain experience. And the information in this book is really put there in a certain way so that it's very hard to read and get through, especially the initial part. It sort of has a spell against you reading English. It's very unusual for someone to be able to pick up this book and actually read it. They just, well, I'll get to it on, it becomes, for whatever reason, too difficult for them to read. Something comes up, whatever, they can't read it. They literally cannot sit down and read this book. But whoever can is then given this reaction, you see, to this information. Okay? So I'm doing some research on this book on a point in here and a couple points, but knowing that Sufism Reoriented put this book out, I know they got a copy of this 1955 book. I mean, it's the most important book they have, so I know they got some copies of the original copy. I know they do. Some originals. I know they do. I mean, you know they do. Even though you haven't seen them, you know they do. Anyway, so we ordered me email today. I just wanted to correct you on Mayor Baba's explanation of time of which you aired on. Oh, I should pull that out. Well, it's just a bunch of gobbledygook on their homepage. Whereas if you want to go look at it, you can. On Sufism Reoriented, I don't want to pull up. I don't want to push the fake. You know what I mean? Like, anyway. So I said, we are inside a 64-year time loop that is celebrated at the midway point of 9/11/2001. Never forget. This is our age. Bear Baba and Jesus come on 9/11/2033, which is Judgment Day, which lasts 1,000 years. That is how Bear Baba comes every 700 to 1,400 years. The cycle is 1,064 years long. The age is 64 years long. The first one with Christ consciousness within the time loop is always the avatar. That is why I have been prohibited from communicating to anyone should I ever return to a Baba Center. I am only banned from the Baba Center Myrtle Beach so far. I am the one who everyone always says is a god. I am always the one with the proof, though, and no one else has it. Bear Baba's flag explains we are inside a crystal sphere ruled by Christ. Christ crystal. Get it? Rainbows can only be produced when light shines through a crystal. That is why you see a rainbow in an outdoor shower but never in an indoor shower. The crystal dome / firmament above our heads that keeps back the ocean of God, who is blue in the daytime and black at night. The ocean, God's true form. Since I have proven with one simple email I am the Avatar Reborn, please send me an original of God Speaks to my home address, the 1955 version. I want to look at it for some research. I will send it back if you want to you. I will send it back if you want me to after I complete my research. Thank you. There's my name and address. So Bear Baba said America would be the next place, and it is. And here I am. Hari Om, Jai Baba. Okay. And if anyone out there wants to help me in this research, you know, who's listening to this, you know, wants to donate this to the church or donate it to their own trust and lend it to me, that's fine, you know, in the ways that I said. Two, obviously this information is for a very select few, and whoever acts on it, acts on it. I'm guessing Sufi reoriented, they don't respond. You know what I mean? I know the Baba Center don't respond to what I tell them is the truth. They just don't respond. So they just sort of block me out of there. So maybe humans are interested in the truth because I know there's some in this original version. I know there's something in it. And I want to show it to you. You see? I want to get this thing and open it and show it to you. It's important to me to do that. Okay. All right. Thank you for the support. Thank you. You know, not many people have chosen to support this work with donations, but some select few have. And guess what? That matters. You know what I mean? Like, of the line in the sand that gets drawn between who's with God and who isn't, you know, help us support God as he goes in human form, you know, to spread the truth. There's nothing else you could do that's more useful and helpful to God and what? To your fellow brothers and sisters, right? You're supposed to help your, you know, love your brothers and sisters, right? Treat them how you want to be treated. Well, if you could help, if you could see who the avatar was, if you could see who it is, and he's saying he needs a book, you're helping. You see what I'm saying? If you're donating to what's happening, you're helping. I'm going to go out there among the people on the street corner. I'm preparing to do that, you see? Preparing the backup, like I need a vehicle to do it safely and, you know, get there and get back and, you know, get rest in between and also have the information on a website backed up so people see, oh, what's happening here, you know? They can go look at the website, they get it. That's all there, so I don't have to be doing that, like, while on the road and, you know, focusing on people, you know? So that's what I'm focused on. I've got the proof that, you know, free homes are a real thing now. Uh, you know, for years and years now, I'm gonna have to go out among the people and help them. You know, like us select few that have this knowledge. You know, I'm gonna have to help more than just us select few. But in the meantime, you can really help me be in a position to help more people with your support. And, you know, this is one specific item of support that would be very helpful. Okay. And I hope, you know, as I've explained in this video, like I can give you a lot of good information. I'll continue to do it. If I have access to getting it, you know, where I can show it to you better, this is one time where having it in written form and in this book will help you. Okay. Still working on the plan for going to India for the pilgrimage. Get your visa, get your passport. Do that, okay? I'll get that up. I'll get that on the website, but do it, okay? Work on that. Do that. If you want to make that happen, do it, please. All right.